Hello. Welcome back to the channel. And today, alongside giving you my Shazam Fury of the Gods review, I'm going to give you my DC movies tier list. So, a few weeks ago, or about 2 weeks ago, I did a video, a tier list ranking of all the MCU Marvel movies. So today, I'm going to do that with DC. Now note, this is including non-DCEU stuff, so like the Nolan Batman trilogy, the Donner Superman movies, so anything outside the DCEU should be in this, but if I missed anything, leave a comment letting me know if I did. This does not include Fury of the Gods, because that just came out, and also, if you want to hear my opinion on that, go watch my video on it. But alright, let's begin. Starting up with the 1966 Batman movie with Adam West. This movie's alright, and Adam West is a legendary actor, and his Batman is iconic, but the movie itself is alright, so I'll give it a B tier. Alright, the first, Donner Superman. Superman the movie from 1978. It's kind of the same with the Adam West Batman movie. It's kind of the same thing with the first Superman movie. So, but I do like it more, so I will give it an A tier. And also, the late Christopher Reeve is incredible as Superman, and is probably the only other actor I could have seen as playing the Man of Steel. Which also leads into Superman 2. I think Superman 2 is on the same level quality, but I think I'm going to give it an S tier, because I actually really like Superman 2. I like it a lot more than the first one. So yeah, I give that an S tier. First S tier. Next up, it looks like is the Swamp Thing movie. Wes Craven's Swamp Thing from 1982. This movie's alright. I'd give it a B tier. It's a little forgettable, but I'd give it a B tier. Alright, Superman 3. Was this 83, I think, is when this came out? Yeah, this one's pretty bad. The plot is about Superman, like, becoming evil and fucking shit up. Don't really care for this one, and so it's getting a D tier. Supergirl, this movie's just low budget and bad, so I'm giving it an F tier. No. Yeah, this shit's an F. Yeah, Supergirl is very cheap and low budget. And, yeah, it's just not good. It also has really bad acting. And Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, is also getting an F tier. Actually, no, I'll give it an E tier, because at least it has more production value than Supergirl does. It's still really bad, though. Okay, so now we have the sequel to Wes Craven's Swamp Thing. I'll give it a C tier. It's definitely below the quality of the first one, but I'll give it a C tier. Alright. Tim Burton's Batman from 1989. You already know where this is going, man. Fucking S tier. This shit is incredible. It gives us the definitive live-action Batman with Michael Keaton, and it is incredible. Fucking S tier. That is where it is going. Alright, Batman Returns. Solid sequel. I'll give it an A tier. Again, it's dark as shit, and that's kind of why I love Batman Returns. So, I'll give it an A tier. Solid A tier. Batman Forever. This movie, I feel like it's a little overhated. I don't hate Batman Forever as much as a lot of people do. I think Jim Carrey is enjoyable as the Riddler. Nowhere near... Riddler? What the fuck did I just say? But definitely nowhere near as good as Paul Dano's new version. So, but I'll give it a C tier. Definitely a little overhated in my opinion, but it's definitely nowhere near as good as the first two. Batman and Robin from 97. I don't really need to say much. It's going straight into F tier. Shaq as Steel. This is getting an E tier. It's enjoyably bad. I'll say with Steel. Catwoman. This is getting a fucking F tier. I mean, I'll give Halle Berry credit. She was willing to do a lot of weird shit for that movie, and so I'll give her some credit for that. But yeah, the movie still sucks. Alright. Constantine. Oh god, what am I? No. Constantine with Keanu Reeves. I give a B tier. It's another one of those movies where it's kind of like, you know, it's there, it's fun. It's not great, but like it's still a fun watch. Now here's where stuff gets even more interesting. Batman Begins. I'm giving this an A tier. This introduces us to the Christopher Nolan universe of Batman, and we are given what's possibly one of my like favorite versions of Batman is the Christian Bale version. So yeah, it's a solid A tier. It could have been S tier, but there are some things that hold it back. But luckily there is a movie that in this universe that does get an S tier, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first we gotta deal with Superman Returns from 2006. This movie is kind of a meh, so I'll give it a C tier. Again, it's not great. This movie was directed by the dude who did the first few X-Men movies. I forgot his fucking name, and the movie's really boring. And the main problem with Superman Returns is that it's just really boring. So yeah, I think it's a C tier. Alright, The Dark Knight. I feel like we all know where this is going. Fucking S tier. The Dark Knight is considered to be one of, if not the greatest Batman film ever made. And yeah, when you watch it, you can definitely see why. It is chef's kiss. It is perfect, almost perfect. There's one issue that I have, and it might be a bit of a controversial one, but there are some other people online that have a similar opinion. I think the movie should have been split into two parts. After Harvey gets scarred, I feel like it should have ended there, because it feels a little rushed after that happens. But yeah, besides that, it's a fucking S tier, man. Alright, Watchmen from 2009. I'll give this an A tier. It's one of those movies that, like, I really like. It's dark, gritty, but it doesn't have that grit. But it feels a little too, how do I say this? A little too, I don't know, real? I mean, of course it's not real. It's like superheroes and like magic powers and shit, but it's a little too gritty, you know? And I know the comics are just like that, but I feel like some humor could have livened things up a little bit. But yeah, it's solid, respectable A. Jonah Hex from 2010. Yeah, this movie's really bad, so I'll give it a D tier. Again, I don't think it's as bad as the ones in E or F tier, but it's still pretty bad. Oh, what? No, Batman. No, Batman. Jesus Christ. All right, Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, this movie is really terrible as well. So I'll give this an E tier. I don't think it's as bad as the shit in F tier, but it's still pretty bad. And it has some of the worst CG I've ever seen in a superhero movie. It is abysmal how terrible that is. Alright, The Dark Knight Rises. I'm going to give this an A tier. I know some people don't really like Dark Knight Rises, especially after The Dark Knight came out. But I actually like Dark Knight Rises. It's not as good as The Dark Knight, but because there's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense in The Dark Knight Rises, but on the whole, I still enjoyed it, and I like Tom Hardy as Bane. I actually like his version of Bane, and I think the voice is suiting in a way. I don't really know how to explain it, but I think the voice is suiting in a way. It's a lot better than what he was in Batman and Robin, I'll tell you that. Alright, Man of Steel. So now we're getting into the DCEU. And Man of Steel, I'll give it a, it's on the line of between C and B tier. I'll give it a B tier. It's a little forgettable, and Superman has a lot of people die and doesn't really save a lot of people. It kind of just more fighting. Like, a lot of people get fucking killed in that movie, so, you know. Alright, Batman v Superman. A lot of people have varying opinions of this film. Personally, I'm a little indifferent to it. Like, there are parts of it that I like, parts of it that I hate. So, for that reason, I'm just going to give it the middle of the road C tier. Again, I'm just going to give it a C tier and not really elaborate on it further. It's just, it's a mixed bag for me, at least. Suicide Squad. Oh, no, get back down there, Jonah Hex. You're not C tier. I'll give Suicide Squad a fucking E tier. This movie was, yeah, it was really disappointing. The trailers made it look fun as hell, but it was a really disappointing movie. Wonder Woman from 2017. I'll give this an A tier. It was a nice breath of fresh air from the mediocrity that was Batman v Superman and the trashiness of Suicide Squad. So, and it was also just a really good movie. It was just really fun and interesting. You don't get many movies about World War I. I say that now, and I'm gonna get, my comments are gonna be inundated with World War I based movies. But yeah, A tier for Wonder Woman. Alright, Joss Whedon's Justice League. I'm giving this shit a D tier. I did not like this movie. A lot of shit in this movie feels really forced. Steppenwolf looks awful. Like, those effects are terrible. Like, seriously, people make fun of Marvel's effects when they're shitty, but you should have seen the amount of memes and jokes made about how poorly Steppenwolf's effects are. Like, it is bad. And also, the movie just sucks. So yeah, D tier is where that's going. Aquaman. I'll give this a B tier. It's another one of those meh movies, but it's mehly enjoyable. Like Swamp Thing and other things I've put in here. Alright, Shazam. I'm going to give Shazam an S tier. This movie feels relatable to many childhood dreams of, like, becoming a superhero. The movie's funny. It has great character, great writing, and really, it's just, yeah, Shazam all around S tier. And what's funny is that when the trailer first dropped for it, everyone was thinking it was going to be terrible. But no, the movie was genuinely really good, so. Alright, coming up, next up is The Joker. Again, this is getting an S tier. Joker is probably one of the darkest DC movies we've ever had. Because it's more of a character study more than it is like a DC movie. It's way more like King of Comedy or Taxi Driver than Batman or whatever. And it is dark, it is depressing, but it's still a great movie with some phenomenal acting from Joaquin Phoenix. So yeah, that is an S tier. Birds of Prey. I'll give this a C tier. It's alright. Like, it's a lot better than Suicide Squad. But yeah, it's a C tier. Wonder Woman 1984. I'll give this a B tier. Again, it's not as good as the first one, but I think I enjoy it a bit more. Because Pedro Pascal acts so fucking ridiculous in this movie. And that's really goddamn fun. Like, this movie's just... Wonder Woman 1984 is just really fun. But I am going to still rank it lower. Because structurally, the plot doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's, like... Yeah, it's just not as good as the first one. But, like, what can you do? It's still a B tier, though. Alright, coming up on our final four. Next up, we have Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, this movie, originally, Zack Snyder was supposed to direct Justice League, but he had to leave due to family issues. So Joss Whedon took over, and he created the butthole cut that everyone hates. But Zack Snyder came back to finish his version, and that is this. And I'll give it an A tier. If I had one complaint with it, is that it's too long. It is 4 hours. There's definitely a bit that could be cut here, but on the whole, it is still really well made. And Joker somewhat redeems himself. I'm not going to give Jared Leto too much credit on redeeming himself, because next year he'd make the shitstorm Morbius, and I just don't like Jared Leto as a person. But yeah, I'll give Zack Snyder's Justice League an A tier. Again, it's way too long, but, you know, it's still well made, and it's still really good, so A tier. Alright, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I'll give this an S tier. This movie is really fun, it is well acted, it is gory as shit, and also it is ridiculous, but it knows it's ridiculous. And it just has a lot of fun. It is just, yeah, just really well made. And I know people are hating on James Gunn right now, but I feel like we should all acknowledge that man makes fun superhero movies. So yeah. The Suicide Squad is getting an S tier. The Batman also is getting an S tier. This is Batman made for me as a person, because I love horror, suspense, thriller, and this version of Batman has all of that, and it is well made, and it is great. So yeah, the Batman is getting an S tier. And alright, our final one, Black Adam. I'll give it an A tier. Because Black Adam, it's not as good as Shazam, but Black Adam is, again, just really fun. Because Black Adam treats himself as a hero who has, like, no rules. And that helps him stand out against other heroes, is that lack of restraint and rules. So, and I don't know why critics hated Black Adam. Well, the audiences loved it. But yeah, I thought it was great. And Dwayne Johnson's he's built as that character. And sadly, we probably won't see this storyline continued. But hey, we still got one great adventure out of it. And, oh god, no, what am I doing? And yeah, if I can find the button. And yeah, that is my tier list for DC movies. You can have a bit of an overview here. So for S tier, we got... it's mostly Batman, or Batman related. Goes to show that I like that character. Then we have A tier. Then B tier, C tier, D tier, and E tier, and F tier. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this tier list. And yeah, hopefully DC gives us some more good fun adventures and movies. Because And like I said, if you guys want me to do more tier lists on other things like horror films, horror characters, or other video games, stuff like that, then leave in the comments below what I should do it for a tier list video. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye. Well, I guess I should say this too. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you enjoyed my content, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.